When was the last time you told the whole story about yourself to another person? Not the version where you come out looking okay, not the highlights, the whole story. The stuff you've never actually said out loud. For most of us here, if we're being honest, it's probably never. Or maybe once, a long time ago. And it probably went really bad that you decided we'd never do it again. Tonight, I want to talk about why that's exactly where your freedom is buried. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ in recovery for pride, anger, and the pain of a broken past. And my name is Jose. If tonight is your first time, we're glad you're here. Celebrate Recovery is for anyone carrying hurts, pain you didn't choose, habits, patterns you can't seem to break, hang-ups, mindsets that keep holding you back. If any of those sound like you, you're in the right place. We've been walking through this together. Denial, powerlessness, hope, sanity, surrender, action. And a couple of weeks ago, sponsor, and why you can't white knuckle this alone. Tonight is principle 4, openly examine and confess my faults to myself, to God, and to someone I trust. 3 people. Yourself, God, and someone you trust. Which one of those is the hardest? Trust? So someone you trust? Yep. Anyone else? I'd say is yourself. Because the moment you say it out loud, even to yourself, it becomes real. And most of us have been pretty comfortable in denial. Denial is actually pretty cozy. Step 4 is searching and fearless moral inventory. Another word for moral is just honest. That's it. Limitations 3:40, let us examine the ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord. Our ways, not just our bad ways, all of them. Hold on to that and we'll be back to it. Just a quick map, 5 letters. Then we'll spend the rest of the time on what actually gets us moving. So M, make time. No one stumbles into this. You have to block out time. If you don't, it just won't happen. O, open. Get out of denial. What you bury doesn't disappear. It just gets worse. R, rely. Rely on Jesus, not your own strength. He gives you strength to the weary. A, analyze. Don't just feel your way through it. Feeling shifts. Truth does not. L, list. List the dark stuff and the good God has done. Both sides. Most people don't avoid this step. Not because it's hard, but because they avoid it because they never start. Picture this. You catch a bunch of shrapnel. Instead of surgery, you just leave it in there. Because surgery hurts. You don't know what they'll find. And right now, you're functioning. You're getting by. So you just leave it. At first, fine, you'll keep moving. But over time, the wounds get infected. It spreads. And slowly, the people you love start keeping their distance. Because you're now starting to stink. And you don't even know why. That's not somebody else's story. That was my story. I had a career. The family looked like I had it all together. But inside, I was still that angry kid, using control, using fear, and calling it strength. And it was coming out onto the people who I was supposed to be protecting. What I buried didn't die. It just kept growing. Here's what nobody tells you about denial. It's not like a splinter. A splinter works its way and eventually goes out. Denied pain doesn't do that. You have to get it, or it just gets worse. But here's the good news. John 8:32, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Jesus didn't say that in a classroom. He said it in John 8, right after a woman got dragged in front of a crowd. Her worst moment was weaponized against her. The Pharisees threw her down to trap Jesus. They didn't care about her at all. And Jesus looked at her and said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." And then, in that same conversation, the truth will set you free. He's not talking to philosophers. He's talking to someone whose shame just got weaponized in public. The truth that sets you free isn't someone dragging you out or dragging it out of you. It's what you bring to Jesus before anyone forces your hand. And that's why this inventory is so important. Tonight, you're leaving with 5 questions. Your job this week is to sit down with God, a pen and a paper, and start writing. There's only one rule. Do not edit while you're writing. The second you start deciding what's big enough to put down, you'll freeze. Just get it out, all of it. You're not submitting this to anyone, at least not yet. And here's question number 1. What do I feel guilty about? Start here because guilt is specific. It's about what you did. Most people can name things that they did wrong before anything else. So this is an on-ramp. Write everything, small stuff, big stuff, things you're not even sure to count. Don't stop to decide just right. Guilt and shame is not the same thing. Getting this wrong will mess you up. Guilt says, I did something bad. Shame says, I am bad. Guilt is like a GPS. It tells you where you went wrong, where you turned wrong, or where the wrong turn is or was. You can work with that. Shame is a demolishing crew. It doesn't fix anything. It just tears you down. And it doesn't stop. Guilt equals conviction, a gift from God. Shame, the enemy's counterfeit. Watch for it when you begin to write. When shame shows up while you're writing, come back to this. Romans 7:24. Paul at the bottom. Wretched man that I am, who will deliver me from the body of death? That was the end of chapter 7. Then in chapter 8, it opens in Romans 8:1. There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. None. Zero. Not a little bit. The word therefore in the original Greek, it means none. The condemnation you walked in here carrying tonight, it already landed on Jesus. There's nothing left for you. Write it down anyways. Question number 2. What do I feel shamed about? This one goes a little deeper. Shame lives in places nobody ever sees or ever seen. The stuff you've carried a long time and you stop noticing. I need to hear something. I need for you to hear something. You're not terminally unique. You have not done something so bad that God can't forgive it. But He can't start healing you until you name it. When I got to this question in my step study, it felt like pulling off a scar that I've been protecting for years. It wasn't fun, definitely not comfortable. But on the other side, I found something that I had in a long time, and that was clarity. And clarity, that's where the freedom starts. Question 3. What do I resent? This is the one people forget it belongs on the list. They think that the whole thing is only about what they did wrong, and it's not. The people who hurt you, that goes on the list. The situations that weren't fair, that goes on the list. The things from 10 years ago, still making your blood pressure spike, that goes on the list. You know, Job's life completely fell apart. All at once. Wealth, reputation, kids, health, gone. His friends showed up, and instead of sitting with him they started lecturing. His wife turned on him, and Job, at the end of the rope, says in Job 7:11, I can't be quiet. I am angry and bitter, and I have to speak. Straight to God's face, no filter, no performance, just I am furious and I am done pretending. And God doesn't correct him. At the end of the book, God finally responds, and he's not angry at Job. He's angry at his friends, the ones giving him the polished, tidy religious answers. God says to them, you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has. The man who screamed at God called him righteous. The people performing composure, they got it wrong. Your ugly, honest anger is more right than the polished silence. Ephesians 4:26, be angry and do not sin. Feel it, name it, put it on the list. Just don't let it be the thing driving your life. Someone in recovery said it better than I could ever. Resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Have you ever stayed angry at someone? Not because they were still hurting you, but because letting go felt like they won. That's resentment. And it's keeping you exactly where they left you. Question 4. Am I stuck in my self-pity or dishonest thinking? This one's the hardest. Not because it hurts the most. Question 2 usually wins that. But because this is where denial fights back the hardest. It's asking, where am I still lying to myself? Where do I keep telling a story where I am the victim? But if I am honest, I know I play a part. Here's something that helped me actually get through this question. Most people in recovery have a story where they're 80% victim and 20% responsible. The inventory doesn't erase the 80%. It doesn't cancel what was done to you. It just asks you to be honest about your 20%. That's it. Just your part. Proverbs 28:27. The Lord gave us mind, conscience. We cannot hide from ourselves. I did feel led in inventory for years, just swirling in the same pain, blaming the same person, wondering why nothing changed. The truth doesn't change. Your feelings do. This question asks you, do you get underneath the feelings and looks at what's actually true? Feelings shift based on how much sleep you got, whether you had coffee, whether somebody cut you off on the way here. Feelings are real, but they are not facts. Also, write down the events that stirred up the anger, the resentment, the fear, the depression. Not just what you did. Where did it start? Question 5. What good has God done in and through me? Don't skip this one. I know this might feel like a weird gear shift after everything we just talked about, but this isn't a feel-good bonus. It's actually productive. Lamentations 3:40 doesn't say examine your bad ways. It says examine your ways, all of them, the whole picture. God is not putting you on trial. He's inviting you into a conversation. An inventory that only goes dark becomes a verdict. That's not what this is. Even in your worst season, he was working. People you helped without knowing why. Moments of grace that became through you that could have only have come from him. Write those down. You're going to need them to keep going. Okay, 5 questions. Here's how you're actually going to do this without bailing halfway through. Do not do it in one shot. Block out chunks of time. 2 hours, not 10. Your brain needs to process, and your soul needs to breathe in between sessions. And this next part, I need you to hear this. This is not optional. Do not start this without a sponsor or a strong accountability partner. No lone wolves. You need someone who can hold you to a schedule, call you out when you're still in denial, tell you when you're being too hard on yourself, and love you through the parts where you want to quit. And that's exactly what last week was, or 2 weeks ago, when this was exactly why this matters. Isaiah 48:29, he gives you strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. You don't need to manufacture the courage for yourself. You just need to have to ask, and he'll give it to you. Let me leave you with this. When I finally sat down and really did this work, not just the surface version, the real version, the things that I'd buried for decades lost their power. The moment I named them, they're gone. Not overnight, it wasn't painless, but they lost their grip on me. Philippians 1:6, he who began good work in me will carry it out to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. He started something in you. He's not done. Here's your one ask for this week. Right now, before you leave, pull out your phone. Block 2 hours. Not to finish, but just to start. One sitting, 5 questions, and that's a win. You're worth it. Your family is worth it. Thank you for letting me share.